Well, howdy folks, how's it going today? I hope you guys are all doing really good. We're going to take a look at an Ibanez Artstar on the bench here. Really nice guitar, really fun to play. Sounds amazing and is very well built. Now this is an older one. This is an AS80. That's the model. This one was made in Korea. I believe that they discontinued the Artstar at some point, come out with Artcore. I don't know if one's inferior compared to the other. I'm not really sure, and it really doesn't matter. In any case, these ones are starting to become pretty collectible, and I understand why. They're basically a 335. You know, it's every bit as good in my opinion. Any case, we're going to take a look at the electronics in this one. We got the little shock amp plugged in here, and what we're going to do here is check the tone controls. I've been having problems with one of them, so okay, here's the neck pickup. So that one works. A little scratchy, but not bad. Okay, so let's go down to the bridge pickup. We have no tone control here. Now, when I first plugged this in and strummed it, I turned the knob about 1 or 2 numbers, and it did work for a brief second, and then it just went away. So I don't know if there's a short in there or what's going on. So we got to take a peek at that, and we all know what this is going to end up being like, because working on guitars through an F-hole is no fun, but we got to do it anyway, so here we go. Okay folks, so I got the tone pot kind of fished up through the F-hole. I use my golf club to kind of hook it here and pull it up. Now we're just testing. I don't see any wires that are bad or loose. I've kind of jiggled them around as well to make sure. So I think the next step is going to be to probably pull this volume control out and see what's going on with that. There could be a wire unhooked off here, so we're going to look into that as well. I don't think this is wired wrong. I'm not really sure. I'm going to have to look at a diagram just to make sure. There are different ways you can hook up a tone pot. Oh, I stand corrected. Check that out. It happened right here on camera. Huh. So I think I know what it is right now. It is loose. That capacitor is loose. See that? It's a cold solder joint. And that's an easy fix. You can hear it, right? So, I guess I do not have to pull out the volume control. Oh, that's a blessing in disguise for sure. So, what we're going to do is get the soldering gun out. I think it was just a cold solder joint. And like I said, when I first plugged this in, now I could get tone just for a second. Now I can't get any. But when I move the cap, we get it. So there's one way to diagnose stuff. I mean, you know, this can happen. It really can. And, you know, it feels like that's soldered in there in really good shape. So, you know, it's just a thing that can happen. It's not uncommon. I don't care how long you do this stuff. That can still happen. So, not a big deal. We're going to take care of it and get that soldered back in and give this guitar a good cleaning. Check the setup on it, and should be good to go. So, again, you just never know, folks. Just by looking at it, it looked okay. I didn't see any like holes or any gaps around the leg of the capacitor that shorten out. And again, this can happen. It probably worked when whoever did it put it in, and it just stopped working over time. I knew it couldn't be anything too major because, like I said, when I first turned the guitar on and tried the tone control, it worked just for a second, and as soon as I went past like number 2 on the dial, that was it. So again, this is a pretty easy fix, and things could have been a lot worse. I wasn't looking forward to ripping all 4 potentiometers out of there and possibly the switch, so I'm pretty happy right now as far as a guitar repairman can be. Anyway, we're going to get the soldering iron out, like I said, and we're going to get this back where it belongs, and we should be good to go. I'm going to make sure the pot's turned down all the way. When you solder on a pot, make sure it's turned down all the way. Don't leave it halfway up or anything, because you got to remember something. When that's turned up, you know, even just a little bit, that little wiper that rolls around inside there is making contact. And when you get these pots really hot and that's making contact, you can kind of melt the contacts and burn them together, and then you got a big, feels like you got a big notch in the middle of your knob sweep. It'll turn a little ways and just go, and then, you know, I've done it multiple times. I still forget to do that once in a while. So again, it's something you want to check, and make sure your pot's turned all the way down. All right, let's get the soldering gun out. Okay, so we're going to let that heat up pretty good here. I usually crank it right on 480 and just run it like that. I did notice I'm getting low on solder. I got to get some more. I'll have to order some today. So, okay, let's get right in close, and I'll try to get you guys in there and get a nice view of what we're going to do here, okay? Okay, that's better. So the culprit is this leg that goes into the middle terminal on the potentiometer, from what I can gather. So we're just going to reflow that. And I still don't think I got it good, so it's tricky because sometimes with the capacitor, the legs may have got cut short or what have you, and it happens. It just makes things a little bit trickier to solder, and it just makes it so it's harder to see if the actual solder joint took. So again, I'm just gonna reflow that one more time while I've got it out, just to make sure. You know, you don't want to get this stuff hot a bunch of times if you can help it. You can even damage these caps from getting them too hot and burn them out. So I think we are in good shape right there. Yeah, that feels a lot better. Okay, let's turn the amplifier back on and see if it works. Okay, so there we go. So that's all it was, folks. It was just this leg of the cap that just had a cold joint right here. Okay, they've got the ground, the other legs just soldered to the back of the pot to ground, so everything works fine, and there's no looseness to this anymore. I could kind of wiggle that back and forth in the hole where it didn't get completely soldered. So we got it working again. That's really good. Okay, so the next trick will be to get this back inside the guitar and hopefully we don't damage the wiring. So we're going to press on and get that done, and then we're going to give it a good polish and clean everything up nice. Well, hello again, folks. Hopefully I can edit these videos together. I hit stop by accident on the last part of this when I was just getting ready to put the tone control back in. So this may be part 2, or it may be linked on the end of the previous video, or the original one, I should say. Alright, so what I've got going here, folks, you can do this with a drinking straw. I have a drinking straw here, but it's too small in diameter. So what I'm using is a piece of shrink tube here, okay? And I've just got it slid over the shaft of the potentiometer. And you want to do this very gingerly when you reinstall this stuff. More than likely, that's probably what happened to the solder joint. You know, you can really damage this stuff putting it in and taking it out. So you have to be really careful doing it. You can't manhandle the stuff, and just take your time. Okay, so we got the pot pulled back up through. Again, you can use dental floss. I've seen it done a lot of different ways. And this is my method, and it seems to work good. I like the fact that it's, you know, it's a little stiffer than a piece of thread. It's easier to shove it down through, and then I just kind of reached in with my little drink stir and scooped it up and got a hold of it again. And I think we're in good shape now. Okay, so what I am going to do before I go any further is I'm going to take that off because we have a knot on there. I'm going to just double check to make sure that this tone control works. Okay, we're good to go. Again, that's something you might want to check before you actually tighten everything back down, and just make sure that, you know, everything's in working order here. The other thing you really need to be careful of when you tighten these up, you got to hold on to this shaft somehow, and they do make a tool for this. The reason being, you don't want to spin this around inside the guitar. That can lead to wires getting pulled off the connections and all that good stuff. So just take your time with it. Be real careful. Working on F-hole guitars is it's tricky. There's not a lot of room to play around, and make sure you test everything before you actually reinstall it. It's just good practice, and it'll save you a lot of headache and frustration, you know, at the end of the day. Because once you get everything in there and it doesn't work, that's when the fun stops, folks. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm just going to tighten this thing back up, and I'm going to just do probably a basic setup on the guitar, and check everything over really well, give it a good polish, and we should be sound as a pound with this one, hopefully. Alright, let's get stuff tightened up. Okay, folks, well, we did one more test. Once we put the knob back on, everything's working good, everything's tight. We should be good to go here now. So we're just going to clean the guitar up here, and I was just wondering what you guys liked for polish. This is my all-time favorite guitar polish right here. It's Yamaha. Okay, I've had this for a long, long time. It's got an aluminum can or what have you. Works really well. This is probably my next in line favorite guitar polish. It's really good stuff. It's got a nice smell to it. Almost smells like cedar a little bit. Cedar oil. This has a nice fragrance to it as well. I don't know if you guys have tried this. This works, excuse me, pretty good. It's a water-based polish. You basically spray it on and just keep rubbing until it doesn't look like it's wet anymore, and that's it. Works pretty good. Again, water-based. Gobi Labs. I'm not endorsed by any of these companies, so there you have it. This is just my honest opinion. Now, this I haven't tried yet. My neighbor brought this down and gave it to me and told me to try it out. So let's do that and see what it looks like. Okie doke. Okay, so let's give it a shot. We're going to put a little bit on a cloth here and just give it a test run. Whoops, I guess I got to take the little piece out of here. All right. It's not going to come out of there unless you get that out, folks. Okay, so I'm going to put a little on a rag and just kind of work this in. I'm not sure how this works, if you have to wipe it off or let it kind of haze up and then wipe it off. So we're going to find out here. Again, I mean, once you get the polish that you like, it's not a bad idea to stick with it. This has kind of a petroleum-based smell, almost like oil smell to it. Yeah, it does. Almost like I've smelled that same smell before with like degreaser or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? It's got kind of that kerosene kind of scent to it. But I will say one thing. It does seem to be working quite well. Now, there's a few scratches on the guitar down here, so I'm not saying it's going to take those away. I don't think you're going to do that unless you do some buffing and polishing here. But in general, I must say that it does work quite nice. It's a little more labor intensive than some of the other polishes I've used, but this is the real test. Yeah, it feels like car wax. It's really slippery and nothing will ever stay on there right now. It's like ice. Okay, so we know it does work. I don't see a really big setback using it. I think it works quite nice, actually. No cloudy buildup, it says. No wax. Non-wax revitalizing treatment for a deep, clear, long-lasting shine on musical instruments. Okay, well, so far so good. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to finish cleaning it up, and I'm going to go over all the chrome here and get that all cleaned up as well. And we'll check the intonation on it. It's something I like to do time to time. Just make sure everything's staying where it should be. So in any case, folks, I think this one is pretty much there. Again, I'm really glad that we didn't have a big mess down inside here to deal with. You know, it's not impossible. You can take all these out and put them all back in. It's just more labor intensive. And again, like I said, really a lot of times where things fail is when you're putting this stuff back in. I mean, we're dealing with wires that are really tiny. You know, they're like an E string or a B string in diameter sometimes. And you know, they can come disconnected within the soldering terminal with extensive movement like that. So again, you just have to be really careful. Get yourself some shrink tube. I buy this at like Harbor Freight or whatever. They sell like different diameter shrink tube. This is what I used, and it worked really well. Again, you know, just kind of fish that down in your guitar. You can bend it. You can do anything to it. When you pull it back up, this worked out really well because I was able to just slide that down over the shaft of the pot, and I didn't have to heat this up and shrink it to the pot, which if it wasn't on there tight, that's what I was going to do, and then just cut it off the pot afterwards. So again, it's really not wasteful, and it worked really well. You know, and again, there's other ways you can use, like dental floss. You could even take a piece of wire like this. Just this is solid core wire, but you could tape that onto the shaft of the pot. There's all kinds of ways to do it, guys. Like I said, the shrink tube trick worked really well for me. Where I got the idea from was watching people use a drinking straw stuck over the pot and pull that up, which is basically the same thing as shrink tube, but that straw was just too small in diameter, so we had to use the shrink tube. In any case, it really doesn't matter how you got there as long as you get there, and we've made it, which is great. The frets on this guitar look a little bit kind of dull. They're not really shiny either, so I think we'll do a fret polish on this one as well. I'll probably just use some fret erasers or something like that to get things shined back up, and go from there. And again, I'm going to finish polishing this up. One more tip, folks. I mean, I don't use any cleaners or wax or anything on pit guards. I've seen too many horror stories about it. Some of the older plastics do not tolerate it well at all, and no fun. Well, that's something I just noticed. There we go, right here. I'm going to zoom you guys in. There we go. We're missing a nut right here on this. And that's for the scratch guard, okay? So it's just sitting in there. Again, I mean, this is why you have to dig your guitars out, guys. And just look them over real close, because, that stuff can kind of get overlooked and not repaired. So what we got to do now is find a screw that will fit that. Okay. Okay, folks, well, it took some digging, but I did find one. Oh, yeah, that's much better. Okay. So, like I said, it's just takes a little digging and pawing around in the cabinets sometimes to find the tiniest little part to your guitar, which can be frustrating, but it is what it is. Usually I can find something. Not always, but that's why you save every one of these small nuts, bolts, washers, all that stuff. If you're going to work on guitars, it can come in real handy and get you out of a bind, and even save you from running to the store to get new ones. So that's going to probably wrap this one up. I think we're pretty close, and again, I'm just going to finish wiping it down, do a good polish on it, and we'll clean the frets up too a little bit while we're right here. And I'm just going to flip the guitar over and take a peek at the back. These have kind of a rounded back to them. Really, really nice guitars. I mean, I just can't say enough good things about this. I really, really like playing this. It's a lot of fun, really comfortable, and it's got good stuff in it. I think I've got a few more of these Ibanez guitars in my collection, and most of these have the Super 58 pickups, which are really, really nice pickups. They sound really good, and have a nice, rich, warm sound to them, from what I've gathered. Like I said, I think I have two or three guitars with those pickup configurations in them, and the 58 pickups that Ibanez uses. They Super 58s, I think, is what they call them. So they're really nice. Similar to a PAF. I mean, obviously that's the gold standard nowadays. If it's not a PAF tone, it's no good, right? Now I just hit that with some of this Taylor guitar polish. That works really well too. It does give it kind of a wax feeling, like it's been waxed, but not, I will say one thing, it's not as slippery and whatnot as this. This feels more like car polish to me, and it works. They all work really well, but yeah, I like the Taylor, and I like this Yamaha stuff. It's really good polish. This stuff, I don't mind it. Some guys hate it, but it's you just got to keep working it and rubbing it until it's gone, and it should suit you just fine. Okay, folks, well, I'm going to get back at it, finish cleaning this up. I'll try to do a sound test on it here for you. It's got locking tuners on it, too. If you guys haven't noticed, I mean, I haven't been playing guitar much at all, if any. I can't even remember the last video I put up with me playing a guitar. It wasn't pretty, I know that, so my hand is getting a little better today. I've got the brace off. The numbness is starting to dissipate some, and I'm really happy about it. So I'm just going to kind of take it easy and let it finish its course and heal up. And, you know, I can't really strum and flex my wrist up and down much or side to side. So I'm going to just let it rest a little more and do a few more just light repairs like I just did, just to keep busy and keep some information flowing out there in YouTube land. Well, all right, folks, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you guys real soon. Be good. Okie doke.